And welcome back, everybody, to another Tuesday Night Chit Chat. I am so glad to be back with you guys. I have really missed you guys. And I can't say I've been delayed due to weather, but I kind of got a bronchial infection, and that kind of threw a kink in things. So I completely missed the whole snowstorm of January, which is okay. I mean, I'm not heartbroken, but um, why do people send me messages after I'm live? I don't know. Anyway, I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to have you guys here. And I had some things I wanted to share with you tonight, and they didn't come in due to the weather. So this is like one of the funkiest winters I think we've had in a while. I think we were actually warmer today than they were in South Florida, which I'm like right almost in the middle of the country. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm just south of the middle. And so our weather here is not, it never gets like horribly bad. People are going to complain about anything. And so if it's, if it's cold for more than 2 days, people are going to complain about it. And I think Scott Rogers had one of the best sayings: it's winter, it's cold, get over it, right? And I love that because it's so true. And for you people down under, it's hot, it's summer, get over it, right? So we kind of have both ends of the spectrum. So to give you a little update, I did have a bronchial infection, which I had one last February. So it had been almost a year. But they are what they are. They take about a month to get over. And then you have a lingering cough for another 1 to 2 months. So I do have some throat lozenges in case I need them. But hopefully I won't. I do have Crispon, so if I do start having a coughing fit, it should cancel everything out. So we'll see. But I feel great, right? And today, I believe it was in the high 50s. Yesterday it was almost 70. So all the snow that we had, it's gone. It's melted. Bye-bye. Until the next one. And I believe spring is March 21st. We have had snow after March 21st. So I'm sure we're not through with winter. And according to the little groundhog thing, he said we were going to have 6 more weeks of winter. So, like Scott said, it's winter. Deal with it, right? And since I missed the last snowstorm because I was homebound, I haven't really experienced any winter. I do have kind of one of those that make you think. So as you guys can see on my clock back here, it has the temperature. And it's a balmy 72 degrees. Okay. In the summertime, it'll be 72 degrees. And it feels like I run around in shorts and a tank top and I'm perfectly comfortable and it feels great. Same 72 degrees and I'm in long pants and a hoodie with a t-shirt and it feels chilly. It's the same 72 degrees. Why does one feel warmer than the other? It makes no sense to me. That's just one that I can't wrap my head around. And someone said, well, it's because your body knows it's cold outside. My body hasn't been outside. Like, I was in the house for over a month. So you can't say that I was acclimated because it's wintertime, or I'm acclimated when it's summertime. 72 should be 72. But apparently it's not. So if any of you guys know why 72 in the winter feels colder than 72 in the summer, drop me a line. Let me know. Because that's just one I've really been scratching my head over. One night I actually got up to check that the heater was still working because I was so cold. And I popped my head around, 72 degrees. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why does it feel so cold in here? I mean, I was in a t-shirt and my arms were literally cold to the touch. What is up with that? in the summertime, that same 72, I would have been just fine. So that's my little rant. I just can't figure out why 72 in the winter is colder than 72 in the summer. But, let's see who's here. Scott made it in. First thing. Hello, Sly and gang. Hello, Scott. How are you? And Randy made it in. Hello, everyone. Good to see that you're better, Sly. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was kind of touch and go there for a little bit, but and when it's your bronchial tubes, it makes it hard to breathe, and breathing is kind of like reading. It's kind of fundamental, right? So breathing is a good thing. And once you get where you can get out and about, you realize how essential breathing is. Yeah. Rady says, problem of waiting for items with delivery. 1, out for delivery and then reschedule it when it's on the truck. Yes. 2, your item is not coming to you, but watching it go different places, right? I think UPS is the world's worst about sending it from the west side of me to 2 states away to the east side and then coming back. But so this stuff that I ordered, it was supposed to be in Sunday. I was so excited. I was going to go live, and I ordered some things, and it was going to be great. And they were supposed to be here on Sunday, and it said, that it never said they were out for delivery. It said shipped, but it said the delivery date was Sunday. Okay. On Sunday, it never showed out for delivery. It just still showed shipped. And this was with Amazon. Okay. So then late Sunday, I get notification that they're running late. They apologized. I'm not worried. It's Sunday. I've got 2 more days. Well, so Monday, I get the same notification that it is delayed due to weather. Now, whose weather, I would like to know, because I think one of the items is coming from Texas. And I don't think Texas has any more weather than Oklahoma does at the moment. And this is Sunday. Well, I guess this was Monday. And as far as I know, Texas looks as unfrozen as we do. So I don't know. I could see if it was coming from Michigan or Pennsylvania or somewhere that got a lot of snow. I could see it being delayed. But if it's coming from south of me, yeah, I think they're just blaming it on something that's not there. So anyway, I got the same notification today, and they said if it's not here by tomorrow, I can request a refund and reorder. I don't want to request a refund. I want it here today, but it's all good. I did get one of the things, and so it may not be something that I'm just overjoyed with, but we'll see. Scott said, we had snow up to mid-April, not uncommon, also not appreciated, right? I think we have had snow, like, not often, but I think we have had snow in April, the beginning of April. Around here, like the daffodils that kind of grow wild, they will have sprung up, and then we'll get like a freeze or a snow, and it'll kill them again. And yeah, so once the daffodils spring up, you hope that there's not going to be any more really cold weather, but it does happen. And then you don't really have daffodils. Randy says humidity makes all the difference. If you live near water, it's hotter and colder. Well, Randy, the house doesn't move. So I don't think there's any more humidity. I know it's terribly dry right now because like I'm having to put lotion on lotion on lotion because my skin is so dried out. So I know the heat does make it drier, but it can't be that big a difference. I would still think 72 was... you know what? I do need to get a humidity gauge and see if that makes 72 in the winter feel colder. A dry 72 versus a moist 72. Okay, I could see that. Mucus in your throat. Yes. Yes, I do have a bit. And I don't really feel congested. I can breathe just fine and all that. It just feels like it's just like, I don't know. It has not cleared up right here. So I have my little cough drops in case I start coughing. We'll see. Scott says, true. I live near the shores of Lake Michigan. Very hard to predict the weather for us. You know, it's funny because years ago, I've never really watched the weather because I just really kind of stepped outside and, oh, it's hot or, oh, it's cold or whatever. But years ago, I was planning a driveway and they were bringing in, I believe it was like 8 loads of river rock to make this driveway. It was 900 feet long. And so I watched the weather to see if I should have them deliver that day. And I think it was like a week, 5 days or something like that. And he got it wrong. The weatherman got it wrong every single day. If he'd say it was going to be sunny, it rained. If he said it was going to rain, it was sunny. So I don't really hold a lot of faith in weathermen. Now, I know things have gotten a lot better as far as technology and that sort of thing. But I think it's a generalization. There's a storm. We don't know how much it's going to drop for you, but it is coming and you might get some. And they actually used 4 snow days last week. And this week it's in the 60s and 70s. So, which is probably why everybody's has a cold. Because after the bronchial infection, I got a cold. And I had not stepped foot outside of my house. So I hadn't been around anybody with a cold. Hadn't seen anybody. I was in isolation. And I got a cold. It has to be because of the weather. In my house. And it's not snowing in my house. So, go figure. Randy says, Amazon, USPS, and UPS are pretty good for me. FedEx is another story. I think 2 of the items are coming Amazon. And I think they're using the post office for the 3rd item. So, I don't know. But, so what I'm trying to do, and I'm not putting these on the screen. Will they go? Yes, they will. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I actually, when you're stuck in the house for a month, now when you feel really, really bad, you don't do a whole lot of anything. But then you start feeling better. Not better enough to be out in public, but better that you just don't want to sit in your chair all day. So what did I start doing? I came in here and started playing with things. And I rearranged my whole eCam thing. And now I don't know where anything is. And I've played with it, so I would kind of know. But, yeah, so bear with me. I'm sorry I haven't been putting those on the screen. That's Sly. I'm going to pop one of these. If I can get them open. You know, you would think. Without shooting it across the table. Ha ha ha. Okay. Like I said, I do have crisp on, so you should not hear me cough if I do. Okay. Randy says it's nice to not mow the grass. Right? When it started to snow, I was disappointed because everybody was talking about how much snow they were getting, and I looked out my window and I could still see grass. So it wasn't deep enough to cover the grass. Well, I went to bed that night, got up the next morning, and I couldn't see grass anymore, and I was kind of happy about that. However, it was a powdery snow, not the type that you can build snowman with. And I have a grandson that was desperate to build a snowman, and he didn't get to this time around. So if we get snow again, maybe it'll be the kind you can pack. This stuff, because the temperatures, they were like way below freezing for 2 or 3 days, but then it got warm, melted a lot of stuff, and then froze it solid again. So now the roads are just straight ice, with no snow on top, and very, very dangerous to drive on and try to walk on and all kinds of things. So I'm kind of glad that's over. I don't mind the snow when it's on the ground and not on the streets. So, and we did have like a day or so of that. So that's all good. And Roy's saying, oh, I'm so sorry. You guys it's been a minute, okay? And plus with the new thing up, it's confusing to me. Anyway, Roy's saying hi to Randy. And Scott says, snow on the crocus is not cool. They seem to tolerate it, though. Is the crocus the daffodil? Is that what y'all are? I don't even know if daffodil's the right name. They're these little yellow flowers. They look like daffodils to me. Roy says, more kangaroos and I wouldn't need to cut the grass. I've been watching some kangaroo videos, Roy. Those things are mean. I would not go up against a kangaroo. Rady says, dry or cold is tolerable compared to wet and cold humidity. Well, I suppose Oklahoma is, we have a lot of lakes around here, and so it is a more humid, we do have more humidity than, say, Colorado. Colorado's a lot more arid, but I mean, Oklahoma is always humid, so yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think the temperature would be that much different in the same house, but it might. Roy says, it's a nice 35 degrees Celsius here right now. Yes, you're in your summer. And when I really don't mind winter as long as it's not a dangerous winter. When people start losing electricity and you can't drive on ice and that sort of, I don't like that. That's like the extreme winter, okay? But for it just to be cold and a little bit of snow, if I didn't have it, I would miss it. I spent one winter in Phoenix, Arizona, and for 3 months, and I came back home and I had missed winter. And I really, really missed it. It threw off my whole, because I've had 4 seasons my whole life. And so that 1 year, I could never shift into gears that it was supposed to be spring and summer yet because I had missed winter. So, it is nice to have all the seasons. Scott says, amen, Randall, that is so true. I got in a discussion with my grandson about the difference between amen and amen. And he's convinced it's supposed to be amen. So, all deliveries for the USPS for people that live in the boondocks. Yes, well, I'm not. I'm in like the heart of town, right? Everybody should run here. They just run a little bit slower. Yeah. So, I know they took a week ago Monday when we had the snow and school was closed and everything else. They delayed our trash day by 1 day because they didn't want the trash trucks out sliding around. And where I live, for some reason, people think they need to park on the street. It's one of my pet peeves. You have a driveway. Why do you park out in the street? Now, I could see if your driveway was full of cars, but they're not. I don't know if they're anticipating a quick getaway or what the story is, but people will have an empty driveway and still park out on the street. And so, yeah, I could see it kind of being, if it's icy, I could see a trash truck kind of playing like a pinball type thing with cars. So I get it. And like I said, I don't get upset about that kind of stuff. I mean, if my trash runs a day behind, okay. They'll eventually come and get it. It's not like they're waiting a month, So I don't get too upset about that. I get mildly upset about, not really upset, mildly frustrated that something says it's going to be here on a particular day and it's 2 days late. At this point, we're now 2 days late. So if it shows up tomorrow, great. I'm not holding my breath at this point. I have a feeling I'll be canceling and reordering, but it is what it is. Randy says, Roy, hi Roy, how are your eyes doing? Were you having problems with your eyes, Roy? I did not know this. So enlighten me. And there's Carlos. Hey Sly, hey everyone. How are you, sir? I assume California did not get any weather to speak of. Although today it was warmer here than it was in South Florida. So for all those people who take vacations and thought, ooh, I'm going to escape the cold, and they go to Florida to lay on the beach, it was warmer here. So there's that. And Randy's saying hey to Carlos. And Roy's talking to Randy. So far, I'm only blind in the right eye. Why are you blind in the right eye? Did something happen, or am I just out of the loop? And Randy's saying to Carlos, how big are the file sizes when using Let's Log using the Pocket 3? I would think they would be close to the same size as my Osmo 5. And the D-Log, I think it's called D-Log, it's not that the files are any bigger. You know, I generally shoot everything in 1080 because of the file size. Well, on the Action 5 Pro, you can't. It looks horrible. So if you do like a 1080 on the 4 and a 1080 on the 5, it's not anything you would want to post to YouTube. You actually have to go up to that, 2.7 or whatever. The 1080, in my opinion, is not usable in the Action 5 Pro. So the file sizes are bigger, but it's because you've stepped up to that 2.7. They just look very grainy in 1080. I don't ask me why. I don't know. I just know that to get the picture to look the same, because oftentimes I use both cameras and then I'll like splice stuff together in post. And to get the pictures to look the same, I shoot 1080 on the 4 and, 2.7 on the 5, and they look the same. So, yeah. Who knows? Roy says, I don't want snow on my crocus either. Right? I would think that would not feel good. Roy says, only male kangaroos are mean during mating season. I know how they feel. So all these videos I've been watching, I don't know if these are male or female kangaroos. They are not nice kangaroos. They look so innocent and cuddly and nice when you take a picture of them. And then you see a video of them and they're, chasing people, and it's hilarious to watch them sit on their hind feet and get those little arms, and it's just, it makes me laugh, and I'm not supposed to be laughing. Laughing makes me cough. So, yeah, kangaroos make me laugh. Scott says, crocus are different, but sprout about the same time as the daffodils. Usually the very first thing to pop up. Okay. Well, maybe these are crocus. They're yellow. They're always yellow. And they always come up like first thing. And I don't ever want to mow them down because I like them. They're pretty. But they come up just randomly in the middle of the yard, or I don't know. I know no one has intentionally planted them where they come up. They just, this is a good spot. Boop. And then it'll be somewhere that you have to mow. And I wait because I think they're kind of pretty. So I don't want to mow them down. Scott said, I want to again thank you, Sly, for the camera bag. It's perfect for me. I'm so happy that it worked for you, Scott. Um, I have got so many bags here that just sit around and do nothing, and that was one of them. And so I'm glad somebody is getting some use out of it. Now, I do sell quite a few on Facebook, but I still have, I think I counted, and I had over 65 still. So I'm glad you're getting some use out of it, bud. And Carlos saying hey to Randy. Randy's saying Arizona, Southern Colorado, and New Mexico are drier and higher elevations. Yes, we are supposed to go to Colorado, I think in April. And that's why I'm I'm trying to get everything just set so that when we do go, I've got everything ready. I'm not scrambling the last week or two. And one of the things that I'm going to take with me is my son's point and shoot camera because it's got that ridiculous zoom, right? Now, my backpack has a mount where you can mount a action camera on the backpack strap. Right here. So the action camera just magnetizes onto that. And so that's fine for when you're, filming in front of you or whatever. I have selfie sticks for when I need to film me. But we have gone places before where, like the falls, and I really wanted to get a shot of the falls, but action cameras really don't zoom. Okay, they zoom 2 times. So what is normally a field of view about like this becomes a field of view about like this. It's zoomed, but it's not like what you need for a waterfall. So, and in Colorado, there's mountains and all kinds of things. So I want to take the 740 SX because it has the zoom, but there's no good place to mount it on the backpack strap. And so I want to find something where I can wear it like across my chest. Have the backpack on, but have this handy. And so I've tried several different things, and this is the closest I've come up with. It has a strap on the back. It's supposed to go on your belt. I'm thinking when I'm hiking, that's not going to be that easy. I mean, yeah, it'll be easy, I guess, to get to, but it wouldn't be as easy if it was like right here and you could just unzip and I just turned it on or off, or I did something. I don't know what I did. Anyway, where you could just, unzip, pull it out, take your shot, put it back in, zip it up really quick, and it's just right there. So I've tried a couple of different scenarios, and this is the best I've come up with so far. The search continues. I'm going to keep looking until I find the perfect thing. But the action camera does fine, and it'll catch most of it. And the image stabilization on the 740 sucks. It's bad. So I don't want to make that my only camera. One of the things I like about the action camera is it does fix most of that image stabilization. I mean, you can still see that I'm walking and stuff like that, but it fixes most of it. It's not painful to watch. Whereas the G7X Mark III, the Sony ZV-1, the SX740, all have horrible image stabilization. And I would not want to make that my only camera for, going on hikes. So, there's that. Roy says, last week we had 49.8 degrees Celsius and the AC was off. So it's 35 now, and you said that's good. So 49 must be hot. And if the power was off, you were feeling the heat. Now, tell me about your eyes, Roy. What's going on with your eyes? Because I did not know you had a problem. So, Carlos says it's been crazy warm here, 85 degrees. Our skiing is really bad so far this year. This is a weird winter. For them to use all 4 snow days, I think they only have 5 built into a school year. And for them to use 4 in 1 week, that is excessive. But maybe they figured it was late enough in January, they weren't going to need a lot more. But I have a feeling if this other storm, I think there's another storm supposed to come in. And if it does, I have a feeling they may go a week longer in school because of snow. So this is just a weird winter. Oklahoma typically does not have more than 2 days of 2 snow days a year. That's pretty much all they ever use. They build in 5, but typically they only use 2. So yeah, so if anybody needs to take a vacation to where it's warm, go to California. They don't seem to be getting the cold like the rest of us. Randy says if the driver can't deliver too many packages, he gets help in dividing the items, and in most cases, they offload it to UPS or USPS. Yes. Actually, my USPS is more consistent. She's not the nicest lady, but she delivers packages more consistent than anybody else. UPS will say they're, running late due to weather. FedEx will actually say it's on the truck in the morning, and then by 4 o'clock that afternoon, it's delayed due to weather. We haven't had any bad weather on the days that they're saying this. I mean, you tell me it's on the truck out for delivery, and then you say, oh, we're delayed because of weather. What weather? It's not even raining. So I don't really trust those notifications anymore. I trust us when my alarm camera goes off because somebody's putting it on my porch, then I know it's here. Roy says, FedEx have started dumping packages in the road in front of my letterbox. I believe it was Amazon did that to me the other day, and it quite annoyed me. But there's no place to go in. It says, how is your delivery? And it says, great, not so great. If you hit not so great, none of the choices that you have why it was not so great are due to the driver. Like, they didn't put the package on the porch. I mean, how hard is this? They just leave it in the driveway? What is that? I mean, if you let's say you lived here, I don't, and I know I probably should, I don't look at my driveway before I back into it. I always back into my driveway just because if I've got something in my the back of my truck, it's right by the front door, and I don't have to carry it the length of the truck. So it's just me being lazy. But I look to see there's not a car there, but that's pretty much the extent of it. If there's not a person standing there or a car in my driveway, I just back in. I would never think to look for a package in my driveway. It's supposed to be up on the porch. Now, thankfully, I haven't backed over anything yet, but the last time Amazon delivered, they left it in the driveway. I don't know. Carlos is saying to Randy, a 10-minute 4K 60 D-Log clip with built-in LUT will often be 7 to 8 gigabytes. Wow. That seems excessive. Like, really excessive. I'm 100% sure my files are not that big. And Randy's giving him a thumbs up. And Roy says, kangaroos do cause hundreds of car accidents each year. We shouldn't let them drive. No kidding. Well, these guys, I never saw that, Roy, but these guys were like duking it out. Uh, uh, uh yeah, one, I saw the one about the dog, but like they will chase people. And of course, people are filming this with their phone because, it's kind of like here we have bison and buffalo, and they're not friendly animals. They look like, they might be. I mean, they're big, but they look like they would be kind of slow because they're so big, and they're kind of really hairy, and so they don't really look like a shark looks mean. Okay, I would not trust a shark as far as I could throw him because he looks mean. Well, buffalo don't really look mean, but boy, they'll turn on you like that, and they're very, very quick, even though they don't look like they would be. So I think your kangaroos kind of fall in that same category. They do not look as vicious as what they are. And there's Miss Debbie. Hi, Sly. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Carlos is saying to Randy, those built-in LUTs are awesome. Surprised how well they work, and so many to experiment with. I believe, Carlos, DJI has got LUTs that you can download from their Mimo app. I know they do for the 5. I don't know that they do for the 4. And I haven't ventured into the 6 yet. That is, one of the things that I ordered. The 6, I didn't order the 6, but the 6 is bigger than the 4 and 5. And so everybody's wanting to get a camera grip because it is a little bit bigger body. And so I ordered a camera grip for the 4 and 5 just to see if I'd like it. I can't tell you because it's delayed due to weather. Delayed because they didn't want to ship it. Roy says Australia is warm. Oklahoma's fairly warm right now compared to what it has been. I mean, I think it was in the 60s or close to 60 today. So, I mean, I'm not bothered by that at all. That's now I will wear pants when it's 60, but I'll wear pants and a t-shirt and go out the mailbox, and I'm not bothered by that at all. But it's still at 72. It's still hoodie weather inside, which just blows my mind because in the summer it's tank top weather at the same temperature. Oh, look, it's 73. 73? It's 73. Carlos says, or Randy says to Carlos, do you use Final Cut Pro for the editing? And Carlos says, yep. Me too. Roy says, I get delayed and unable to deliver without a reason. Well, at least they give me a reason, even if it's a hokey one. Like, because of the weather, when there's no bad weather, right? I'm pretty sure, Randy, have you had any bad weather this week? Because Randy is way down in southern Texas, and I think the package I'm getting is coming from around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm pretty sure they haven't had any more weather than I've had this week, and I've had nothing. So, yeah. So at least I do get a reason, Roy, even if it's a lie. Randy says, I love it when drivers say they cannot deliver because of a gated neighborhood. Annoys me because we still have 2 entrances that have no gates. We don't have homeowners association either, right? Now, I have not gotten that. I have gotten an unable to deliver from the post office because there was a car parked. I think there was a car parked in front of my mailbox. It was when they were putting the French drains in, and they had cars and trucks and everything else on the street. And so she just went through and put unable to deliver because the mailbox was not accessible. And I'm like, you could have just gotten out of your little truck and put it in the box and drove on. But what do I know? I've never been a mail carrier, so I'm not going to complain. Plus, it's just usually I get a lot of ads. So, Randy says, Carlos, you just gave me another video idea. Thanks. Randy, you don't need any help. Randy says, Final Cut Pro will compress those files. The sizes of the files. And Carlos says, great idea, Randy. That didn't come up. There he goes. Randy says, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, right? Buffaloes too. Yeah, there are just certain animals that look cute but aren't. And kangaroos are just, if I ever come to Australia, the kangaroo may look cute, and I'll have my little zoom camera to get up close and personal, but I'm not getting up close and personal because I don't run that fast. Ella says, yep, you apply the LUTs within the Memo app. They just add to the file size. Memo, yes. Okay, that's what I thought. I've never really used them too much. I've never used them. Because between the 4 and the 5, I have the 4, it does great in daylight. The colors are great. I've never had to. And the 5 kind of sucks in daylight, but it does really good in evening. I did that little test drive thing with it sitting on the hood of the car. And I think it was Roy that asked if my headlights were on. I'm like, yeah, they were on. So I went back and looked at it. And I had the camera. I did not have it set to whatever it's called, night something. So I still had it set to just a regular, there is a thing on it called night something. And I did not have it set to that. So I'm going to do another test, and I'm going to set it to that night thing and see if that makes a difference. See if it looks brighter. Randy says we had ice and sleet one day and 3 days that were colder than freezing. Yes, that's pretty much. Now we had snow, but it was powdery. And then the temperatures got above freezing, like 46 degrees and above freezing, that everything melted. And then we had a hard freeze that night. And so the next morning, I think it was Friday. Well, it wouldn't have been Friday. What day would it? Because Friday was clear. Anyway, the next morning, everything was like a skating rink. And what was bad is, you can have ice on the road, and then if it snows, you're okay because you've got snow packed on top of the ice. So you've got a little bit of traction. But when you get what we had, and everything melts and then refreezes, there's nothing on top of it. So now you've just got a huge, ginormous skating rink, and people still think they have to get to work on time. And I am thankful that they closed the school for 4 days, because it was impossible to walk on, let alone drive on. And, you got some really little kids getting on school buses and stuff. So, yeah, I was 100% behind the school closings. And Flying Toast made it in. Hello, Toast. Hi, all. Hope everyone's doing well. Yes, sir. We are on the mend, sir. Need to find out what's going on with Roy, but the rest of us are, I think, doing okay. Randy says to Toast, hope you are staying warm. Hello. And did I see some, for some reason it's not putting them all on here. Randy says, I've been experimenting with the Nikon ZR and have the color and picture quality are perfect. Upload it to YouTube and they butcher it. Yes, which is why most of the time, like with my cameras, I just set them to 1080 because YouTube's going to do their thing to it anyway. So it is what it is. And the file sizes are better for me in 1080. So I don't really worry about it too much, but when I edit in Final Cut Pro, even though I've shot in 2.7 on the 5, I set everything to 1080 and it compresses it back down. So Randy says, did I miss one? No. Okay. No, I did that one. And they butcher it. Yes. Okay. No busted pipes this winter. Lucky chewed the outside of the house. PVC, internet line, and digging holes gave me the only problem. So, is he still teething? Or is he just a digger? I'm trying to think. Because I know when Entei was teething, like, if you didn't want your stuff chewed up, you had to give him specific things to chew. But he's never been a digger unless he is going after something. And that dog is ridiculously fast. He will catch mice. I mean, rabbits. He is like lightning. If he senses that there's something like in the ground, or man, he will just dig until he gets it. And but he doesn't really chew on anything else. Now he's older, and so obviously you wouldn't expect a 10-year-old dog to chew on things, and he doesn't. But as a puppy, he really, when he quit teething, he quit chewing on things. So I don't know if Lucky may outgrow this phase. I'm not a dog trainer, but I don't think I've ever had a dog cause, like, after they quit teething, I don't think I've ever had a dog that kept doing that behavior. So, and Roy says Roy is just fine. Okay. Sending files over the internet, even 1080 can be too big. Absolutely. I have a thing called WeTransfer that will transfer files. I think you're allowed, is it 6 megabytes is all that you're allowed in a text message. It's very, very small. It's not, so if it's a bigger file than that, then I have to use WeTransfer and send it that way. I don't even think you can email a very big file. Scott says, dog is lucky. You, Randy, not so lucky. Oops. Right? Yes, Lucky was very lucky to find you, Randy. And I'm sorry you're having issues. Randy says, German Shepherd trait, and he's only 10 months old and will calm down after 2 years. Okay. Yeah, when they quit teething and stuff, and they kind of, because he's still a puppy. I mean, 10 months is like not a baby, but it's still a puppy. In dog years, he's not quite 7. So, and you do have to kind of train him like you do a child. You know, no means no. And if you do this, you're not going to have access to this anymore. So, I've had a lot of dogs in the past, but I've never had behavior issues with any of them. So I really can't speak to that. Randy's laughing. But you weren't laughing when you were laying all those stones. That looked like hard work. And Roy says to Randy, maybe Lucky found out you worked for the post office. And Randy says, no, he doesn't. He doesn't want me to go postal. I can just hear you. Randy, you are so soft-spoken. And I would imagine that when you get worked up, you can get loud if you want to. So, Scott's laughing. And Roy says, Lucky has a pet Randy. Randy says he knows no. Cage, sit, treat. Chow time. So yeah, he looks intelligent, Randy. So I don't think he's doing this stuff because he's trying to get on your last nerve. It's just what dogs do. And some friends of mine never had any children. They don't want children. They don't want the hassle of children. And they're now in their 60s. And they adopt old German Shepherds. So for whatever reason, they might be a police dog that's been retired, or for whatever the circumstance may be, they adopt German Shepherds that are, I think the youngest they've ever had is 8, but they usually try to go with a 10-year-old and up, right? Because they're settled and they don't want to have to deal with that childish behavior. So, Randy, you just got a little baby and you're just going to have to treat it like a kid for a couple of years. Frustration. Can't climb trees to get to those squirrels. You better watch it, because he'll figure out how to... German Shepherds can jump an amazing amount. They can jump really high when they choose to. And if he is so inclined, he will... Because I've seen him get on top of the table. So he may figure out how to jump. And you come home and he's in a tree or something. Don't be surprised. I'm just saying. So, I saw a video today that one of our own put out, and it was about a blanket. And I love blankets. I think my problem is I have a hard time sitting still long enough to watch a movie. I bounce up and down. And now, when I was sick, yes, I was in my chair probably, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And just didn't feel like even getting up. But normally, like right now, I'll sit down, and if I'm sitting down for 30 minutes, that's a long time for me. And then I get up and I think of something, and I'll go do it, and then I'll come back. And so I guess I have maybe ADHD or whatever they call that. But I have never been the type of person that can utilize a blanket, because for a blanket to work, you have to sit under it long enough for your body heat to warm things up, right? And I've never been able to do that. So, sorry. Peter showed this blanket that he got, and I have several of those, and I love them, but like I said, I don't sit down long enough to utilize them. So this year I found the perfect alternative, and I wanted to share it with you. It looks like a blanket, right? It's got the Sherpa, it's got the real velvety, soft on the outside, and on the inside, somewhere, it's got the Sherpa. Somewhere. I don't have it completely upside down. Okay. So, on the inside is the Sherpa. Outside, it feels really soft. And what it is, I may have to stand up for this. You can tell it's big. It is a ginormously big, stand up there, a ginormous hoodie. And it's big. Right? It's got the hood. Okay? But you wear it like a blanket. So, this is absolutely perfect for me, because it's warm, just like the blanket. But when I jump up and go and do something, I'm taking the heat with me. I don't have to start all over next time I come and sit down. So, I found those. I'm not going to say this is the first year they've had them. This is the first year I've seen them. And I have that one, and then my son got me one for Christmas that goes all the way to the floor. This one comes to below my knees. The other one goes all the way to the floor. And I'm kind of short. We all know this. So on a taller person, it probably wouldn't. The longer one, I can get tripped up in it. Because it's floor length. But when you're sitting in a chair, I mean, both of them, you can just wrap yourself up in them, and you can get up and do dishes, or you can get up and cook, or you can, everything that a blanket would fall off, but you still have the blanket on. So, yeah, just another alternative. And they're big enough. I think they say one size fits all. I got my son one who is almost 6'1", and it doesn't look too short on him. So they really are one size fits all. So anyway, there's my spiel. When he was showing the blanket, I thought, I love those. I have several of those blankets, but I've never been the type that I can sit long enough. You get all warm and snuggly, and then I want to jump up and do something. And so, yeah, this thing is the answer to that, because I can jump up and go do stuff, and I don't lose that heat. So, let's see, where'd he go? Okay, squirrel says then. Okay, so Roy says then you shouldn't chase squirrels. Carlos says, we had a coyote jump over our fence yesterday. Those things can jump. Yes, and German Shepherds can jump. I've seen, like, the police dogs. They can, if somebody's hiding in a tree, they can actually jump up and grab a leg or something and pull them out. So, they can jump a lot higher than you think. But you don't want him to start knowing he can jump, because then he'll try to jump the fence. Randy says, I placed 80 pavers and 40 bricks to keep him from digging around the fence. I'm waiting to see if he can jump the fence. Yeah, don't even suggest that, because once he knows he can, he will. We do have an air tag on Entei, and we've had to use it once. He made the Great Escape, and my son could just track it, and so he was not gone for very long. But I live kind of close to some busy streets. He lives close to some busy streets. I don't know how far out you are, Randy, but it's very scary when they do get out and they're lost and AirTag. Randy says, I had 3 coyote attacks at this house. The old neighborhood, those animals were too scared to enter. Yeah, I mean, they kind of run in packs, I guess. And the pack mentality, you usually won't have a coyote attack by itself. It's usually in the pack. And then it's like, oh, well, he's doing it. I'll get in there and help him. And, oh, I'll get in there and help. And, So they're usually fairly timid on their own. It's when they get in a pack that they cause trouble. And Carlos is saying, wow, Randy. Roy says, my battle is with cockatoos. Cockatoos. They open sliding doors. I lock them. They peel the fly wire and unlock the door. Wife had a shock finding dozens of cockies in the lounge a few days ago. Wow. That would be... I would just shake my head. It is amazing to me how different life is in other countries. And I would like to see that just like at least once. Randy says, Roy can't help it. They hide from my camera behind branches. I want a better shot, so if I kick off Lucky from the picnic table to get a better view. And Randy's saying, Roy, give them some time and they will figure out how to open the refrigerator, right? Roy's saying, Randy, I hope Lucky finished his dinner before you kicked him off the table. He gets on the picnic table outside. I don't think he gets on the table inside. Randy says he's a happy puppy teenager and eats more than I do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I've seen him run around your yard, right? You're standing there filming and he's running around and around and around, and he burns a lot more calories. Randy says Belgian Malinois. Am I saying that right? Are the ones that are incredible. Is that the one that looks like a shepherd but is furrier? Has a lot more fur? I don't know. Guys, I'm starting to cough again. So I'm going to wind it up. Next week I promise by next week I will have the camera grip and the 2 little bags. I have one of them, but it's the PGY Tech one. I'm not real thrilled about this one, but I'm gonna put it up next to, I think it's a trying to think what the other bag was. I don't remember now, but there's 2. I think it's a Ulanzi actually, and I'm gonna kind of compare the 2 because that seems to be like the in thing right now. Is these what they're called? Kind of called. I think this is called a pocket sling, but where they've got like the ropes, which I don't know that I like the ropes, be honest with you. So, but I think the other one has ropes too. And I want to say it's a Ulanzi, but we'll see when it gets here. And so it should be here. It was supposed to be here Sunday. It should be here at least by next week. We'll see. Carlos says, I was chased by a road coyote a while back when cycling at the Rose Bowl. It was late at night, was right on my wheel for a while, must have been hungry. Wow, that's unusual, because usually it'll leave you alone. There usually has to be some backup. You know, they're kind of cowards. We used to have, I raised my kids on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Our nearest neighbor was 1.5 miles away. Town was like 12 miles away. And so we had lots of coyotes and deer and bobcats and mountain lions and you name it. And yeah, coyotes are very cowardly. So I'm surprised one chased you. I'm glad you got away. Roy says, I miss our dog. It used to go co-pilot with me, with my wife in her convertible everywhere. That's kind of what my son does with his dog. Is he's always taking him everywhere, and he's very, very, very acclimated to people and other animals, and so he just, he'll go up to a person or another animal, and there's no hostility or, some dogs, when they see another animal, they kind of growl, and Entei has none of that. He's been socially acclimated since he was a puppy, and so, that's good and bad. If somebody wanted to steal him, they could, but AirTag. So, Randy says they are a different German Shepherd. Bye, everyone. Have a safe week and stay warm. Cheers. And Roy, stay cool. And Scott says, wishing better health to you. Scott, I'm on the mend. At some point you realize it can go either. It has to go one way or the other. You're not going to stay like that forever. You're either going to die or you're going to get better. And I've always gotten better, so I was hopeful. Roy says, question, aren't black bags the primary target for airport thieves? I don't know, are they? I rarely carry black, only because I get tired of black. I mean, if you look, I've got a lot of dark bags back here. Some of them are not black, they just are not really well lit up, so they kind of look black. But yeah, I don't like black, but this only came in black, white, and I think pink. And given those 3 options, yeah, okay, I'll take black. Not a fan of white and pink, but it is what it is. And it's not for airport, it's for hiking. Because I want a bag to go across my chest for the camera. So, Roy's talking to Carlos, says, but coyotes don't even know how to ride a bike. Roy, I love you to pieces. And Roy says, my wife's dog should have been called Princess Useless. Monarch of the Glen named one of their dogs Useless. So, not Princess Useless, but Useless. So anyway, guys, if you're in the U.S. and you're east of California, do stay warm. It's really not an issue right here, but if you have Oklahoma temperatures in Florida, you're probably not used to it. So bundle up, stay warm. And Roy says, I only mention black bags because a friend had his bag pinched. Being black, the thief claimed it was just a mistake. Right. Yeah. And that, there again, air tags in all your bags, so that if somebody does try to take it, the air tag will go off and you can find it. So I'm a huge proponent for air tags in everything, because it's very, I don't trust people I don't know. Let's put it that way. So as Randy said, oh, Roy, thank you so much. You always sneak that in there right at the end, but I really do appreciate it. It makes me feel good. And you guys mean the world to me. We're not a very big group sometimes, but I like the fact that everybody knows everybody and we can all talk about, we all kind of know each other. So, I think that's really cool. So I'm trying to find Randy's thing. Roy, thank you. I do mean that. Well, Randy, I can't find it. Here we go. Okay. Have a safe week and stay warm. Cheers. Goodbye, everybody. There we go.